Okay, welcome to part two of the table build. I'm still kind of recovering from COVID, so you'll have to bear with me if I start to sound really stupid, or stupider than normal. We're going to cover a few things today. The first is going to be applying the shear web to the back of the table. And it's a shear web, and I call it that because it's designed to stiffen this table up, so when the machine is moving back and forth, it's not going to impart that motion to the table and cause it to twist and deform. I've already done a little bit of work on that by putting in bracing here and over here to support my, I think that's a 7/16 sheet of OSB that I'm using. It's material I had on hand. It's basically scrap, so that's what I'm using it for. The next thing will be to mount the table. The table is attached using 1.5 inches. Wow, I need the glasses to read that label too. Okay. No, 1.75 inch self-tapping flathead screws. These little beasties here. I bought these from CS Hardware, as Craig does not make a 1.75 inch version of that screw. Anyway, so that's what's going to be used to attach the top of the table. And then the thing you can't see, and let me move the table around so you can see it. So we'll just kind of slide this around. These casters really move nicely. Can you see that yet? No, probably not. Let's move this just a little bit. So if you can see that right there, this is the 5-drawer box that I built to put, it's standing out of frame, just brilliant. This is a 5-drawer box that I put together that I will show some video of that at some point. It's cutting room floor stuff at this right now because, well, everybody knows how to build a basic drawer, and people far better at it than I am have covered that. So instead of just teaching you guys a whole bunch of horrible bad habits, I'm just going to kind of show you basically I did it. It's going to take some interesting tricks to mount because the tabletop has to be installed before this is installed because this blocks the screw holes, meaning that in order to install this properly, I have to have little padding blocks out of 12mm Baltic birch that I can put in here and screw in from the top, and I'll put screws in from the sides and the bottom to hold the drawer box in place. So that being all said, let's start on the back. Ta-da, or something, right? Okay. This build is very, very lacking in beer, which is kind of a sad thing. Okay, so take this, and of course I'm going to block your view of everything because, well, why not, right? Clamp. Grab the thing, and we'll use 1.25 inch screws. I'm going to put one in this corner. Should keep that handy in place while I adjust on this end. Does not want to play nice. Figures. Okay, so that's 2 screws. dozens more to go. And I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. So, the back of the table is now on, and now we're gonna put the top on. This top is 3/4 inch melamine, which means it's got a thin plastic sheet on the top and the bottom. In the middle is particle board. It makes a great tabletop, but it's utter crap for structure. It holds compression well. Anything else, it's trash. You also do not want to get it wet because it will bulge and do all kinds of things. So if you're planning on using cutting fluid with your PrintNC build, I strongly recommend that you put Formica down or an HDPE plastic or something on top of this material if you use melamine. Same goes if you're using MDF. MDF sucks up water like a sponge. It'll deform and cause you all kinds of problems if you're using coolant systems of any kind that use fluid. Anyway, you may or may not be able to see, but in this corner, and I'll kind of shove things closer a little bit for you, I've cut a hole out for a cable grommet, and this is basically a PETG printed part. There's a top and a bottom half to it, and this is what I'm going to pass all my cabling and water lines through to the underneath where the electrical box is. Anyway, I am going to get this tabletop put on, and I will be back. So I figured you guys would get a kick out of this. I've got my tabletop clamped down because I've got to get underneath there and put all those screws in there. What I'm having to use for weight to hold the table down, a couple of 40-year-old S100 bus computers. Nerd for life, right? And this, packed full of 5 1/4 inch diskettes. So I have all the weight I need, I think. And away we go. Okay, so the top is all down. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blowouts that I have to deal with. No, that's 6. No, just 5. Okay. And these will have to be filled with resin or epoxy or something in order to reseal the table. It sucks, but the screws I used were not too long if I didn't accidentally overdrive them. Unfortunately, I'm tired, I'm kind of sick, so they got overdriven a little bit. Anyway, next up is getting the door box installed. Let's go ahead and take care of that. I'm probably going to cut a lot out. Maybe, maybe not. Hey folks, I just wanted to hop in here real quick and fill in some of the pieces that horrible audio left out. And I apologize for that. I've been having some audio issues and I'm working on getting them resolved. Now I'm using my shotgun mic on the camera, and hopefully this will be decent audio for this segment. I'm going to use a completely different audio solution for the next video, so hopefully we'll have better audio next time. So, to summarize what I did and was lost in the audio, I've got 5 spots on this table that I overdrove. I don't know if the audio came through well enough to be able to understand what was going on. The screws that I used, I should have used 1.5 inches, not 1 3/4. The reason for that is that an 1.5 inches will allow me to overdrive them a little bit and not punch through the table. I've punched through the table in 5 spots, so I'm going to need to fill these little divots with, or punch throughs with epoxy or Bondo or something to restore the seal integrity that the melamine has on the tabletop, because I don't want coolant or cutting fluid to get into the particle board. It'll ruin it. I'm going to come around and we'll take a peek here real quick at what I did on the drawers. Just got the box installed, got my spacers. I ended up only using 1 here. I felt more screws would just be overkill. So I put some screws at the bottom, screws on the side, and eventually I'll get the drawers done. So coming in the next video is going to be what a lot of you folks have wanted to see, PrintNC stuff. So I've got a box of printed templates that you'll use in order to correctly drill holes. And it just goes together like that. We'll show more of that later. But the table is as done as it needs to be for building the machine. So that's what's going to come in the next video. Again, I apologize for the scattered way this is coming off. I was sick. It wasn't fun. Poor decisions were made. But we're getting back on track. And I'll see you folks in the next video.